What is up, guys? I cry over spilt milk here, and today, the 14th of December, we had the release of the entry list for the 2025 F1 season. Quite interesting, actually, with seeing the three new drivers coming onto the grid: Jack Doohan, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Oliver Behrman. It's interesting to see what numbers they picked, and also Kimi Antonelli as well. It's interesting to see what numbers they all picked, which made me want to do this video. As you're probably aware, Gabriel Bortoleto picked number 5, Jack Doohan picked number 7, Oliver Behrman picked 87, and Kimi Antonelli picked number 12. It's quite interesting that Bortoleto picked number 5, as you can see, was the former number of former world champion Sebastian Vettel. Also, Jack Doohan picking up Kimi Raikkonen's number 7. Um, he was a former world champion as well, Kimi Raikkonen. Quite an interesting story as to why he picked this number. So, as you probably are aware, in 2014, the FIA introduced a rule where the driver can choose a number they can use, a car number they can use for their career. Um, so I'll just go through them all quickly. So it's like 10 years ago, so it's quite an interesting story. Of course, card number 1, that's the champion's right. So this number is reserved for the champion. If they want to use it, they can. Since 2014, it's quite amazing to think we've only had 3 champions: Lewis Hamilton, Nico Hulkenberg, he wishes, Nico Rosberg, and Max Verstappen. As you probably all know, Max Verstappen, he uses that number 1. Nico Rosberg retired before he had the chance to use it if he wanted to, and Lewis Hamilton, he only used number 44 throughout his entire career, even as champion. Next up, we have car number 2. Quite a bit of a cursed number, you see. The drivers who drove number 2 didn't really have very good careers, and quite short careers as well at that. Stoffel Van Dorn, when he stood in for Alonso for a race. Stoffel Van Dorn was originally had number 47. Later on, Mick Schumacher picked number 47. He didn't have much better luck with that number either. So number 2 and number 47, not really lucky numbers so far. After Van Dorn retired, left Formula One, Logan Sargent picked up the number 2, and we all know what happened with him. He didn't do much um, with number 2. Next up, number 3, only one driver's had it, Daniel Ricciardo. He reprised number 3 last season, filling in for Nick De Vries after he flopped last year, so he was able to retain number 3 and keep it going. As you can see, the drives in bold. That means they have the right number. Last time I checked, it was 2 years. So um, anyone who took part in the 2022 season, 2023 season going into 2025, can have a claim to their number. So I'm guessing this is the first time going into. Well, I suppose since it's weird because Vettel and Raikkonen must have retired. Well, must have been retired for over 2 years now. Well, it will be 2 years once we go into 2025. So so obviously the first opportunity, their numbers were picked. So number 4, did you know that was originally held by Max Chilton? Um, I think he had a couple of seasons for Marussia Manor team. This was picked up by fellow Brit Lando Norris, and Norris has done well with number 4. Number 5 we've already covered. Sebastian Vettel had it first. Some people say Vettel picked it because as a throwback to Nigel Mansell when he had the red number 5 on his Williams, you might remember. Number 6, Nico Rosberg said number 6 is quite a special number to him and his family. That's why he picked number 6. And then Nicholas Latifi sort of soiled it, when he picked number 6, 2 seasons after it became available again. So yeah, kind of like one was champion with it and one really flopped with it. So just picking a number doesn't mean you're going to be successful. Number seven, Kimi Raikkonen. Now here's the story. When in 2014 when he was asked to pick a number, the previous season for Lotus he was number seven. And he just said, "Well, I might as well stay with that number. It's as good as any, so I'll just keep the number what I've got currently." I'm guessing that's the same story with Roman Grosjean as well, his teammate. They both were 7 and 8. Obviously, the Lotus team must have finished fourth the previous season. Um, so just to cover the previous numbering method. Um, so before 2014, the numbers were done basically on your team's finishing position in the constructors' championship. Um, so say like your team finished first, they would get the lowest numbers. Of course, the champion would still get number one. A good example of this was Damon Hill. Damon Hill in 1996, he won the championship for Williams. However, because he was sacked and went to Arrows, he took his number one to Arrows with him. So Arrows became number one and two, and then the Williams, because he's the team that he won with, and also they won the constructors. They became 3 and 4. Ferrari finished second. They finished 5 and 6. They finished second, so they got 5 and 6, and so on and so forth. That's how it worked. There's a curious thing about Damon Hill as well. He's the only uh, driver to race with number zero. Number zero was obviously used if the reigning champion wasn't in the Formula One reigning champion didn't um, stay in sport. So obviously, because the driver number one, the car number one wasn't a champion, they couldn't use number one, so they had to use number zero instead. So they would use number zero and number two. And that would be the team who I believe that the champion would have left. So the champion would have left Williams, and that's why they got allocated number zero and two. Um, but coming back to the here and now, and coming back to 2025, as you can see, Jack Doohan's picked number seven. He also was number 61 for the last race. It's quite interesting to note that when you pick a number, you can change it. I think if you're filling in for another driver, I think you are assigned like a random number based on your. I think it's based on how the team finished in the season before. So if you're like the sixth best team, I think like Alpine were, you'll get number 60 or number 61 to use. So if you have any drivers, and that's why Ollie Behrman, he was number 38 for Ferrari, number 50 for Haas, and then coming into the next season, he'll be 87 with Haas. So obviously, you know, as a reserve number for Ferrari, there must have been allocated number 38, and for Haas they were allocated number 50, and then now Ollie Behrman has number 87. So we've done 7, we've done 8, and on to number 9. That's now available, but I don't know if anyone wants to use it. It was used by Marcus Ericsson and Nikita Mazepin. Both had quite shocking careers, actually, really bad. So I can see why no one wants number 9 again. Number 10, did you know that before Pierre Gasly had number 10, a little known driver called Kamui Kobayashi had number 10 when he drove for Caterham? I think this is the first time as well that when a number was reused, when Gasly joined the grid 2 years after Kobayashi left. Obviously, he took number 10 as soon as it was available, and I think he was the first driver to reuse a number. As we know, number 11, Sergio Perez has used it throughout his career. Number 12 was used by Philippe Nazir. Do you remember him? The short-lived Sauber driver. Now Kimi Antonelli's picked at number 12. Let's hopefully he'll have better luck with number 12, unlike Felipe Nazir. Number 13, Pastor Maldonado. Now, typically, number 13 was a number not much used in Formula One. During the previous numbering methodology, the team that finished 7th, they wouldn't get 13 and 14. They would skip 13, and then they'll get 14 and 15. Um, And then the team that finished at 8 would get 16 and 17, and so on and so forth. But Pastor Maldonado, he sort of did have a bit of luck with number 13. He won the Spanish Grand Prix one year, but I think this was before he was picked number 13. I think he was using the old number methodology for that season. Number 14, as we all know, Fernando Alonso, who has used it throughout his career. Luckily, he came back within the 2 years, so he was able to reclaim his number 14. Interesting. Number 15. No one has been number 15. So that's the lowest number you can pick that no one has any affiliation or, um, has picked before. So if you want to create carve your own destiny with the lowest number, number 15 would be a good pick. Up next, Charles Leclerc, number 16. We all know that's what he picked throughout his career, and I think there's one that's been retired. Next up, number 17. That's why he's in red. Jules Bianchi. I think that number has been, well, and I don't know if it's been officially retired, but I think it's like an unwritten law, unwritten, you know, rule that no one picks number 17 in honor of Jules Bianchi, um, who was injured during the Japanese Grand Prix, and then uh, I think he spent the next part of the next year in a coma, and then eventually died just before the Hungarian Grand Prix the following year, unfortunately. So, as a matter of respect, I think the number has been unofficially retired. Um, Number 18, as we know, that's been used by Lance Stroll. I think that's how old Lance was when he entered F1. So that's why he picked number 18, I believe. Number 19 was Felipe Massa. Number 20 was Kevin Magnussen. Um, so yeah, even though he won't be in the sport next season, it won't be until, if I'm not mistaken, 2027, because be all the way through 2025 and 2026, and then 2027, someone can pick number 20 again if they wanted to. Number 21 was another ill-fated number, Esteban Gutierrez. Anyone remember him? He drove for Haas in the first years it was around with Roman Grosjean, with his teammate. Um, and he had that, I think he had that big crash with Fernando Alonso, um, when I think it was during the first season that they picked the numbers, that he had that big crash in Australia. As you can see, Nick De Vries also had used number 21 when he was signed by AlphaTauri. When Nick De Vries was driving for Williams in that one outing, he picked number 45. So yeah, number 45. It's only been used in 2 races. Once by Andre Lotterer, who had one race for 2014, I think it was, for Caterham. That was a long time ago. And then Nick De Vries used it in, that would be 2022, I believe, when he had that one race with Williams. Uh, Impressed AlphaTauri, and yeah, got signed by them in the next season. So number 21, not much luck with that one. Number 45, it's only been used twice by two different drivers. Quite an interesting bit of trivia there. Number 22, Jenson Button used that number first. The reason why he picked 22, that was number he drove under for Brawn in 2009 when he won the championship with them. So that's why he picked number 22, because that's the number he drove under when he won his championship. But since then, Yuki Tsunoda has also used number 22, hoping he'll be able to, maybe he might be able to sneak a championship or two, just like his forebearer, Jenson Button. 23, next up, Alex Albon. Um, yeah, so Alex Albon's had number 23. Guan Yu Zhou's used number 24. And then Jean-Eric Vergne has used number 25. So number 25 is available to use. So is number 19 and 15 and 13 if you wanted to use any of those numbers. They're all Last time they were used was over 2 years ago, or they were never used, so you can use them again if you want to, along with number 26, which was possession of Daniel Kvyat once. So what I keep wondering when he's going to come back for Racing Bulls. He always seems to be, if they're struggling to fill a seat, he always seems to be like the go-to. Um, well, but I don't know at the moment. As of recording this video, as far as we're aware, Perez will be driving for Red Bull, and we don't know who will be taking the second seat alongside Yuki Tsunoda in the Racing Bull. But I doubt it'd be Kvyat, though, unfortunately. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it. As we all know, number 27, possession of Nico Hulkenberg. When he filled in for Aston Martin during the COVID years, who's able to keep his number, maintain it, and use it. Then next up, number 28 was first used by Will Stevens for a season when he drove for Manor. It was also used when Brendan Hartley had half a season or so many races for Toro Rosso when you drove for them. Yeah, so he had number 28. Not much success for either driver, so yeah, that's the number. Perhaps that's the number you want to avoid. Number 28. 29. That's the second lowest number that's never been used. So yeah, 15 or 29 would be good numbers to use if you want to create create your own create your own, make the number significant to only yourself. That'd be a good one to pick. An interesting one next, number 30, was used by Julian Palmer, and it was also used recently by Liam Lawson. However, if he gets the second seat Racing Bulls, will he use number 30 as he did last season, or will he use number 40, which he used the season before, or what other number will he use? I don't know. So yeah, he'll be the second driver if he does get picked to race for Racing Bulls. He'll be the second driver in Formula One to have raced under three different numbers in the current numbering system. Anyway, I'm sure that before 2014 there was many drivers who raced under different numbers. Yeah, so number 31 has been used only by Esteban Ocon. 32 has never been used by anyone. Now, interesting, 33, that's Max Verstappen's number. So if he doesn't win the championship, he'll revert back to number 33. That's been held in reserved for Max Verstappen, so no one else can pick it while he's using number 1 at the moment. Yeah, so if another driver does become champion, I presume they can use number 1 straight away. They don't have to wait 2 seasons. I believe that's the champion's right. So if you're a champion, you can use number 1 the following season if you want to. Yeah, we're coming to a few numbers now that have never been used. As I said before, 32, 34 has never been used. 35 was used by Sergei Sorokin. Do you remember him? He had a season with Williams. Number 36 was used by Antonio Giovinazzi when he filled in for Pascal Wehrlein at Sauber for a race or two. He later went on to use number 99, the highest number you can use. Yeah, I know it's a lot of drivers. They use a common theme is the double numbers like to be used. Like Sergio Perez using 11, which is double one. Yuki Tsunoda and Jenson Button use number 22. Max Verstappen uses 33. Lewis Hamilton uses 44. Carlos Sainz uses 55. I'm surprised no one's used 66 yet. And then Valtteri Bottas used 77. Rio Haryanto, remember him? Used 88. The Manor driver who raced for half the season for Manor. And also Robert Kubica used 88 as well. I'm sure he'll use that again. I'm not sure if he's last time I heard he was a reserve driver for Alfa Romeo, but I don't know if he's still with them or with Audi. Who knows? And then of course 99 was used by Adrian Sutil and Antonio Giovinazzi. Yeah, so anyway, coming back to number 37, no one's used that. As I said before, Oliver Berman used number 38 for Ferrari earlier on this season. Uh, and then, as I said before, he'll be using number 50. He used number 50 for when he drove for Haas, and he'll be using 87 in 2025. As I said before, number 40 was used by Paul di Resta and Liam Lawson. So Paul di Resta used it only for one race, and famously, I remember Raikkonen had something to say about Paul di Resta, saying he should go back to commentating. I think he held up Raikkonen, so Raikkonen wasn't very happy with Paul di Resta. And of course, Liam Lawson used number 40 in 2023 when he filled in for Daniel Ricciardo at AlphaTauri. Yeah, again, for number 40, no one has used it that number full time yet. 41, no one's used. And then number 42, Alex Rossi used that number for a couple of races for Mana Marussia. And then the following season, I think he used number 53 when he filled in for a few races as well. So I'm guessing that's to do with the reserve numbers that the teams are allocated. I guess so if they want to field like a secondary driver that doesn't normally race. I'm guessing these numbers are allocated to the teams that to use. So it's for like emergencies. In case they don't have time to pick a number, if they're like got to be thrown into the car, they'll just slap on number 42 or number 53 for Alex Rossi in either case. Number 43 was used by Franco Colapinto earlier on the season. I haven't bolded him because, as I said before, with that rule, I'm not sure because he only raced for a partial season. He wasn't signed full time to replace Logan Sargent. So if Franco Colapinto, I hope he does get a full time drive. Whether he'll use number 43, who knows? He'll probably use a different number. Number 44, as we know, Lewis Hamilton. He used that during his championship when he was the champion. He used that when uh, he was a champion. He didn't use number 1. He used 44. As I said before, 45 was used by one time by Andrea Lotterer and Nick de Vries, and also 46 was used once by Will Stevens when he drove for Caterham for one race before he reverted to number 28 for the full season at Marussia. Um, Number 47 was used by Stoffel Vandoorne once when he filled in for Alonso for a race. Mick Schumacher then used number 47 when he drove for Haas for a couple of seasons. Next up, number 50. Ollie Bearman used number 50 when he was driving for Haas last season. Pietro Fittipaldi used 51 when he was filling in for Haas when Grosjean was out with burn. I think he burnt his hands after the. I can't remember if it was the Sakir or the Bahrain Grand Prix in 2020, but Grosjean basically sat out the rest of the season, and then Pietro Fittipaldi filled in for the rest of the season. I've already covered 53. That was used by Alex Rossi. 55 is currently used by Carlos Sainz. 61 was used by Jack Doohan in the last race we've had. But as we know, he's going to be racing under number 7 when he races full time for Alpine. 63 is used by George Russell. And then we jump all the way to number 77. So everything from 64 to 76 is not used. Volt has never been used. Valtteri Bottas used 77. And then after that, Oscar Piastri's using 81, of course. Ollie Bearman will use 87 going into 2025. So he'll be the highest number on the grid. So Ollie Bearman will be the highest number in 2025 of 87. And last season it would have been Oscar Piastri with 81 as the highest number on the grid, card number that is. As I said before, 88 was used by Rio Haryanto and Robert Kubica. '89 was used by Jack Aitken. I think he might have wanted to use the '88, but because that was previously used by Robert Kubica, had been 2 years since it was used. He had to pick number '89, I guess. '94. I don't know why Pascal Wehrlein picked number '94. And then '98 was used by Roberto Merri. Remember him? He partnered uh, Will Stevens, I think it was, at Manor for a season. Obviously, I guess this was like between Sutil and Giovinazzi. I would have thought he might have wanted to use '99, but because it's been used by Sutil, and before, it's within the 2 years. Or I think Sutil was racing at the time. I'm not sure. So he had to go with '98, and then Giovinazzi picked '99. Obviously, it was 2 years after Sutil left the sport, so he was able to use '99. Um, yeah, so that's it. So that covers all the drivers. Let me have a quick tot up. There's at least must be about 100 drivers that have raced in Formula One. Can't be many as 100, maybe. I don't know. I haven't actually counted them all. Well, there must be about yeah, maybe between 50 and 100. But out of them all, it's amazing that no one's picked the number 3 times. But maybe now we are going into the 11th season of this new numbering system. Who knows? A number might be used for a third time. I mean, number 9 can be used for a third time if someone wants to use number 9. But as I said before, don't blame anyone who doesn't want to use it. Uh, 28 can be used a third time. And again, I don't blame anyone who doesn't want to use it. 30 can be used a third time, but with Jolyon Palmer and Liam Lawson using it, well, Jolyon Palmer's case anyway, we don't know about Liam Lawson yet, but just judging by Jolyon Palmer, I can blame no one wants to use it. I can see why not. Number 40 again, same story. Paul di Resta didn't do E. I think he finished last in this race, but it was a good result, even though he hadn't raced for a few seasons. Again, the jury's still out on Liam Lawson. We don't know how he done. 45 was only used twice in 2 races. Andrea Lotteria and Nick De Vries used it. I can see if no one wants to use number 45. Stoffel Vandoorne and Mick Schumacher used 47. Both used 47. I don't know. Stoffel Vandoorne didn't have much of a career. Neither did Mick Schumacher. So again, I don't know if anyone wants to use it. And of course, number 99 and 88. At least I think we at least number 88 and number 99 users. I'd say out of them all, Adrian Sutil and Antonio Giovinazzi probably had the best. Did the best for their number. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments. What if you was entered Formula One? What number would you pick? Let me know in the comments what you would pick. We're getting to it's a bit of the season where Formula One fans, it's not much is going on. We're waiting for the winter break and testing for next season. It's so we were making these sort of odds and ends videos just to fill the time in and keep excited for next season. Anyway, hope the action next season is exciting, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much for watching.